Hello. Hi, it's Nurturing by Nature, doing a catch up on a Friday, doing a live. So, hi, how is everybody today? I've got quite a lot that I'm going to go with today. So, hello. Look. Hi, everyone. Hello. So, right. So, to start today, I wanted to highlight to you a lovely review that came through on Instagram, actually. About it's from Kaylee, who has got a German Shepherd dog, and I didn't realise, but I have got a German Shepherd mug today. So her dog was diagnosed with cancer, and generally, you know that Nurturing by Nature. Quite a lot of you probably already know Nettie's story, and I'll dive into that a little bit later. I'll bring that back up. So Kaylee, a lovely Kaylee, she got in touch on Instagram to say that her dog was diagnosed with cancer, and he was 10 kilos underweight. Actually, I don't know the age of the dog. So 10 kilos underweight. So she switched onto raw food, looked at our company, saw our prices, and couldn't believe what she was seeing. Actually, she thought maybe this was a little bit too good to be true. But she's now on her third order. Decided to put a little testimonial on our a link through, and she even made her page visible so we could actually see her notes. She's so happy with how her dog is doing. She said that her boy has gained a kilo so far, and he's still got a long way to go, but this food has totally helped him, completely helped him, I think are her words. He has now got energy on his walks. So feeding a raw diet has given them more energy when she's on the walks. Hi, Wendy. I can see you there. More energy on walks. The dog used to lag behind, and now he's up there enjoying his walks again. He's got light in his eyes. Now, guys, you know what that means. You know, when they feel a bit dull, and you can see it, can't you? You can really see what she's talking about, that light in his eyes. Okay, right. So that light in his eyes and is gaining weight. The main thing, gaining weight. So this dog is going through cancer treatment, and she says, "Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Without this food, he'd have been put down by now. I wanted to see an improvement before I wanted to sing your praises, and he's loving his food again. And the other bonus is that she's saving money on a raw diet too. So I know that a lot of people you'd be able to relate to that side of things. But yes, this lovely Kaylee, who we will follow up on, and we have asked if we can do a blog and article on her, so we will be getting back in touch. Hi, Harper's mum. But I'm glad Harper's into her raw food again. Thank you for letting me know. So, Nettie, my mum, we've got some series on YouTube as well, where you can see about why she started. There's some information on our YouTube channel. There's quite a few little series, little snippets that you can go in and pick up information on Nurturing by Nature, the company, on Nettie, my mum, why she started doing the food, and what we do this for. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a rundown on why. So it is down to this review from Kaylee really helps with this, because her dog's been diagnosed with cancer, and that is the reason why Nettie started Fred on a raw diet. So Fred was a boxer dog. He was huge, bouncy, and very excitable, and he's a boxer, and boxers never grow old, do they? He was 6 years old, and he had his first bout of cancer. Now, my mum Nettie was working in a veterinary practice at the time, and she thought she was actually feeding a good diet, and she was shocked that he got cancer after receiving this diagnosis. She was blaming herself. She was really upset because she did think that she was feeding Fred a good diet. So this first tumour, which was on his leg, was surgically removed, and that was it. No further advice. Carry on, feed a good food, and crack on with life. So that's what it was. 2 years later, he had his second tumour develop, same site, and Mum was absolutely devastated. Luckily, at the practice that she was working with at the time, had a New Zealand vet who was working as a locum at the time. His name was Tony, and he prompted her to feed a raw diet. She could visibly see a difference in all the dogs that he was saying get them onto a raw diet. She could visibly see a difference of these dogs coming back even after a week. So Tony then got Nettie, mum, to feed Fred a raw diet. And she wanted to know a bit more about it. So he basically told her to feed a third meat, a third veg, and a third oats. And after doing some research into cancers and how they feed off carbohydrates, she wasn't so keen on the oats side of things. She wanted to know why you need to add the oats to the food. And basically, Tony's like, well, they don't have to go in the food. Oats are really just a filler. You can leave that out. So it took her about a month to get her head around it, source the products, because back in 2000, I don't know, it's been 2000 and like early 2000s, really early, like 2001. There wasn't really that much information about it, so she had to find where she could get the meat from, what vegetables to feed, and how to store it, how much she's going to need to feed him. So Fred then went onto a raw diet and refused to eat it, wouldn't eat it. And it took her 3 days until she actually forced him into popping some in his mouth. And then he went, oh, this is okay. And then he ate it, which is lovely. And then after that, they never looked back. He lived until he was 14 and a half. He lived an extra 6 years after that second tumour was removed, all because Nettie decided to change him to a raw diet. So every pet that she had, which we had a few, she fed a raw diet too. So cats and dogs were fed on a raw diet, and each of them, something about them, in some way or another, got better. She knew that carbs didn't feel right because she'd looked into that. Illnesses seem to be appearing in pets that were supposedly eating a good quality diet. So the root cause of these pets' problems has been their diet. So Fred was on, as she thought, a good quality kibble, and looking into it, carbs create sugars that help to feed cancers. So it's really important when you're choosing a meal for your dog to try and feed something that's as species appropriate as possible. I know that not everybody is going to be in a situation where raw is going to be easy for you, but if you can try and choose a diet that is as natural as possible, alongside whatever you're feeding, you can bring in fresh products, you can bring in fresh meat, you can bring in fresh vegetables, anything like that is going to help. A little bit of fresh food in your dog's food, even if you can't feed a raw diet, it will be good to add it in if you possibly can. I'm going to just show you quickly an example of what we've got here. So this one on the end, the first one here, is a very highly commercially produced kibble, which has no more than 30% meat in it. Very highly produced. It doesn't even tell you, even though on the packet it's called beef meaty food, it doesn't even tell you what the actual meat is in that. This one in the middle is a grain-free, again, it's processed, grain-free kibble, which still contains quite, it's better, way better than this, but it still contains various things in there that me and Mum were going through what was in some of these kibbles. And again, it's got peas in. Peas are a bit of a no-no because they're very high in it's just high in sugar. Peas, carrots, and potatoes are all really starch rich, so that's where you find the sugar. And then this on the end here is a little chunk, semi-frozen chunk of our raw chicken and tripe, which is easy peasy to feed. Raw chicken, there's bone in there, there's tripe in there, and we don't say that any of our food is a complete. We don't claim that at all, because really a raw diet would be very hard to create a complete. Anyway, complete, people might say, would be 80-10-10. It's not really. Complete would be absolutely everything your dog needs. So this is not a complete, but it is a good quality raw. It's quite chunky. You can see the meat in there. You can see the little green bits in there. That's tripe. So that's just raw tripe from the cow's stomach, lightly washed, still full of goodness. So if you can try and add something fresh into their food, that will really help, even if you can't feed fully raw diet. And make sure you read the packets on what you're getting, because for a pet food to say it's chicken, it only has to have, I think, 4% of that particular product in it. So make sure you read the packets, make sure you have a look and see, and try and avoid products including starchy veg. So definite things to avoid: peas, carrots and potatoes. Sugary, aren't they? If you eat carrots, quite sweet. Cancerous tumours will feed off carbs and sugars, and apparently cancer cells use 10 to 20% times the amount and the ratio of a standard cell. All cells need sugar, but cancers burn through those sugars so much quicker, which means they can grow quicker, and then it causes other issues. And then the other thing you need to think about, if you can, is looking at the treats that your pets have. So if you can't feed a raw diet, you can feed a better quality quibble. Do what you can, but try and keep your treats really, really simple. Natural treats, single protein. We don't want anything that's particularly chemically preserved. So we want to feed natural. This is here. Does anyone know what this is? This is a piece of tripe. So if you're looking for a nice dental cleaner, something like this is far better, even though it is smellier, than some of the dental things that are on the market. So avoiding those and going for something like this, which is just pure dried tripe, is far better for your dog and their digestion. Natural treats, you've got sprats, or just dried fish. The whole of the fish dried. Really good source of omega-3 as well. And then a nice chewy pizzle. Again, just a dried bull's pizzle. Nothing in that apart from meat. Muscle pizzle. That's it. You can also introduce some free radical into your pet's food. You could feed something along the lines of seaweed. So seaweed, although we have got our own seaweed, which is this one. This is the Neptune's Yard. It's a prebiotic, but also seaweed, because seaweed has to go through so much in its life in the sea. It's really tough stuff. It really deals with lots of things that are thrown at it. So if we look to put that into our pet's diet, it can only be good. So even if you're not feeding a raw diet, something along these lines with the seaweed. If you buy this one and your first time buying it, you should also get a swanky bag with your purchase if you buy that through the website, which is quite nice little shopping bag. Anyway, so I know that cancer's a tricky sort of subject, and we cannot claim that raw feeding is going to fix that for everybody, but we do know that by feeding a more natural diet, one without highly processed carbohydrates in it, we're going to help to minimize the effects in our pet. Did you know that 50% carbohydrates in your pet's diet can give your dogs cancer? And our beloved dogs are the one animal out there that suffer more than any other domestic pet. And yes, about 90% of these cases are almost certainly caused by the diet that they eat. So definitely have a look and think about what you're feeding your dog, and if you can, move to something that's a little more natural. And now I know that a lot of you are on here because you already feed a raw diet. You already know about Nurturing by Nature. You know what we do. You know about our treats. But if you want to have a look at some of the more serious stuff on our YouTube channel, you've got Nettie talking about why she started it, about Fred. We would really, really love you to join us over on YouTube. If you can, like it and click on the little button the bell and subscribe, and you will see an update from us every week like we do on Facebook and on Instagram Live. So hopefully we can maybe delve into this again a little bit more later on, but I wanted to highlight Kaylee's lovely message. And I wanted to just say thank you ever so much to all of you that have actually taken the time to feedback with us. We're definitely going to pick up with Kaylee if she's happy to, and find out a little bit more about her dog and the situation that she's in with him. And really, anything like that, we love to write about it. We like to feedback to people and let them know what we do and why we do it. So Nettie started Nurturing by Nature really to create a diet, but not only that, but just to expose more people to a more natural diet. So even if you can do a little thing, she's like, why? She wanted to know, because it was so good for her dogs and so good for her pets. She wanted everyone else to know about it. She wanted people out there to know about feeding a raw diet and how it could help your pet and help you, because we're so emotionally attached to our dogs and cats. We want them to live forever. And if something that we can do to help them, even if it's just something little, like adding some fresh food into their diet on a daily, weekly basis, then let's see what we can do to spread the word and create a bit of a legacy for Nettie and make sure that her information gets out there. Now, none of us are vets. We're not vets, but we have got plenty of experience and plenty of information and feedback and real life testimonials, and we can get the science for you. If you really want the science, we can do that. We can get it for you. There's plenty of vets out there that are also into feeding a raw diet. So that's it really. That is our live today. Bit more serious, sorry. Next week we'll bring back some Christmas toys and squeak them at you or something. So hopefully you can maybe pass on this weekend about feeding a raw diet and even just feeding something fresh into your pet's food. So that's it. I'm going to toodaloo, and I will hopefully catch up with you again next week. And if I get anything in between, I'll probably pop on and do a short live like I did this week with the feedback on the pet remedy and the firework help that we helped with Corby. So thank you ever so much, everybody, for joining me. It's lovely to see you. Thank you.